Welcome back, everyone, to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan here. For today, we have on the show. What can I say? She's back. The incredible, the amazing, the badass, the superstar, the one and only, the legendary Kyla. Kyla, how are you today?
I'm very well, thanks.
There you go. I mean, what better way to have an incredible, super badass morning than to be chatting again with someone as super badass as you? You know what I mean?
Thanks, Dan. I
Good.
feel I feel like that's a constant anytime someone is talking to you is you're very all about calling people a badass. That's
Yeah,
one of the core compliments you give.
absolutely. I mean, yeah, let's face it. I mean, you guys are all super badass. You're doing, you're badass basically. I love it. All right. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, if you are watching this, on the description below, you're gonna find all of Kyla's social media. But also, I'm gonna leave also the first interview we have, so you can discover why she's super badass. Right now, without further more, let's jump in here. Right. So for today, it's a couple of follow-up questions. Also, some new questions as well. So I want to start the first, I want to start this whole conversation by throwing out the first question, which is, what's new? We spoke like what, like 7 months
Yeah.
ago. I think it was before Christmas, something like that, or
Oh
after.
yeah. Even over I wonder if it wasn't over a year ago.
Yeah,
It was at least, I think it was at least a year because in that previous interview, I have long hair and I've had short hair for a year now or so.
there you go.
So,
All right. So tell me what's new. Like, how's your yeah, like how's your career been doing? New projects. Tell us.
yeah, I've just been kind of like, trucking along. And I think we've chatted a little bit about this before, but I have a few different artistic disciplines on the go. So, uh, I've been this last year definitely included some acting, which I'm looking forward to talking about today. But a couple other things that were cool in this past year is I joined an 80s rock band. And so that's been super, super fun. It's like everything is in a kind of 80s cyberpunk pop thing going on. All original songs, but the songs like fit even lyric wise 80s themes and what the music of that time sounds like. Our music sounds like we're called Vixen. And also, what's been fun that definitely ties into acting is that we've created a whole kind of other world universe for the band and alter egos and characters. So there's lots of writing and coming up with character identities in the band, and that has been a blast.
That's that's badass.
And our lead singer is from Ecuador, so our lyrics are half English, half Spanish.
That is
So
cool. Okay. Okay.
you get into it, I think, Dan. If you like 80s stuff,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's my jam. Absolutely. Yeah. Cool.
cool.
I like that. And tell me, like, where that I yeah, like, where the idea to join that band came from. Like, what triggered it to be like, you know what, I want to
Sure,
make
yeah.
that happen.
So last kind of it's in 2023 at near the end of winter, beginning of spring, was a really slow season for film industry here. And I often work on crew as well, doing either production assistance or production coordination, production manager, and art department too, and just like all kinds of other jobs on crews, often supplement my income. And it was just dead, and there was nothing going on. And I eventually got to the point where I was like, okay, it's time to get the old serving job. And I had served for like a decade, years before. So I thought, well, this is something I know, it'll be fine. And maybe I can get into it. Got a serving job just a couple blocks from my house. And I was not really feeling it. There were some cool people at the restaurant, but it was almost like I was taking a step backwards and it just wasn't a good fit anymore for where I was at in life. Um, so anyways, I was in that kind of state of having taken a serving job that I wasn't really vibing with. And one night I was working and these two people were at the bar and I started chatting with them because they seemed cool. They had a really cool style. And so I thought, oh, I want to like, these people look rad. I want to chat with them. And it turned out that we were all musicians. And so we started to chat about that. And they said that they were looking for a bassist for their band. And then without even thinking about it, I immediately said, well, bass is the instrument I'm the best at, which is true in the sense that I had the most experience playing bass growing up in band and stuff. But at that point, I was by no means a like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
magnificent bassist. I like, pretty basic skills. But I launched in and I said, yes, I'm a bassist, and they said, well, do you want to join our band or do you want to come practice with us and see if that could be a thing? And I went to a practice with them. I felt that my skills were like subpar, like not that great, but they thought you're good enough to be in the band. We like who you are and we'll figure it out and you'll get better. And so yeah, that's how I ended up in this band is kind of having one of those moments of just like following the impulse of saying yes when you have a gut feeling and then figuring out the rest afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
When I talk about skill, I guess the thing is that I grew up playing more like jazz band,
Mm-hmm.
kind of slow groovy stuff. And this band is like very fast, like punk bass lines and or faster. Like so there's a bunch of different influences, but it's just all much more rapid and all up and down the neck, more than I'd ever played before. So it's been a fun year and a big challenge, and I'm finally getting to the place where it's now actually getting really fun to have leveled up and being able to at least somewhat keep up with my other band members who are musically so good, magnificent. So yeah, that's how I ended up in this band. Serving job. Yeah, I gave a really long answer, but yeah, serving job and then just right place, right time,
There you go.
saying yes.
I love it. But it was meant to be. Sometimes I have discovered that sometimes in life when we are doing something that we might don't like, at some point something connects to it and you're like, "Oh, I get it now." I mean, I'm a really true believer that everything happens for a reason, and like whenever in a position in yeah, like whenever you are doing something or in a work that basically my point here is that there's always like a possibility to, like you never know. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think things happen for a reason, or we make the reason or something.
Totally.
But it
Mm-hmm.
feels like there's some kind of orchestration-y thing happening, and even if it's improv, things eventually connect, and if you roll with it, it turns into something cool. So I like to think that the purpose of that serving job was just to meet my bandmates. And then after I joined the band, I promptly quit the serving job.
There
So
you go. I
there
like
you
it.
go.
And tell me, how's your painting career going on?
It's going okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had a couple really big pieces. Well, I've got one behind,
That's
so
cool. That's cool.
that's currently finished and for sale. And I've had a couple pieces like that that were quite large, and I'm excited to move on to working on a bit smaller
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But something neat about these paintings is that um, I have a friend who does art department for the TV show Heartland,
Mm-hmm.
and they needed some artwork for one of the episodes, and so they rented my painting, this one and one other piece that I've since sold. So that was kind of fun to have my artwork on a show. I
Yeah.
haven't watched the episode yet, but it's kind of I love when the disciplines there's crossover and things
Mm-hmm.
start to all work together. So that was probably the highlight of this last year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that is what it's all about, whenever you can mix up stuff and things like that. That's cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So you are killing it here. That's incredible. That's incredible. And moving a little bit forward here into, acting career now. Like, so as an actor, you often have to inhabit the lives of various characters, right? But tell me, like, how do you approach stepping into a new role? And what techniques do you use to make the character feel authentic?
Hmm. I guess it depends what the role is.
Mm,
So, uh, if it like I had the opportunity to work on a feature again this year. My friend had written very much based on her own life experience film, and I had the honor of playing a role that represented her and her experience.
okay.
And so for that, we spent a lot of time us dialoguing about what the story meant to her and her experiences. And she ended up directing it as well. So there was a lot of collaboration between me and the writer director and figuring out what the role was, um, and doing a lot of that work months and months in advance. Um, so I would say, yeah, for sometimes when it's those kind of like, yeah,
Mm,
more like uh, big project, then I'm putting in the time that way. Um, I also, this was arguably my most fun acting experience recently, and it's so silly, but I saw on Actors Access a casting call for mascots for like a radio commercial, and one of the mascots listed was a hot dog mascot.
okay.
Something in me just leapt up where I was like, I gotta play that hot dog. Like I want to be the hot dog. I just pictured myself immediately in a hot dog suit with a face hole and me uh, embodying
A hot
a
dog.
very particular kind of hot dog vibe.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I self-submitted and I ended up booking it and getting to do a day on set being a hot dog mascot. And I think because how I prepared for that was it basically just, I think the like submitting was the preparation because I was following an impulse to do something that felt like pure joy and felt like, oh, I got to do something comedic again. I've been doing lots of drama. I get cast in drama and horror a lot in Alberta. I'm not sure why. That seems to be my hit. But what I love the most as an actor is comedy and being to getting to play kind of unhinged or off kilter, kooky roles. And so,
Hmm.
anyways, that the day I was the hot dog, I just kind of tried to have fun, and that was my MO. Fun, fun, fun. Act like a goon, see what happens. And I ended up getting featured in a bunch of different shots because they saw that I was having a good time, and then it just kind of inspired new ideas for what the hot dog could do. At one point, I was like at the front of a pack of like we kind of became like a little mascot like
Hmm.
mobsters, and I was like the head honcho cracking my knuckles in my hot dog suit. Yeah, not like obviously not deep, but I don't think everything has to be deep, and maybe
Totally.
that's like a really fun part of this last year is like I'm kind of, I don't want to have to be precious all the time. I
Totally.
sometimes just want to screw around and act like an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, and that is, that's the way it is. Sometimes, yeah, sure, you have to go deep, and things like that. And sometimes you just have to let yourself go, have fun, and that's it. As simple as it may sound, it is.
Yeah,
That was cool. So you were a badass hot dog too.
it's a badass hot dog. Yeah.
There you go. With sunglasses on it, or
Sunglasses. Oh, is that when you think of hot dogs, that's sunglasses is the first thing that you're like, it's got to have sunglasses?
with some sunglasses on it, that will, and some
I
brass
didn't have
knuckles.
I didn't. Oh, brass knuckles would have been sweet.
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, maybe next time I'll rock some shades.
I like it. Sounds like a plan. That is incredible. And tell me, like many actors have rituals, or routines to get into character, right? What's yours? Do you have any pre-show rituals or or something that basically help you to get into the right mindset?
Yeah. Again, I would say it depends on what it is.
Mm,
Um, Practically, if there's a bunch of scenes with lines, I'll typically print my sides off the night before. I record the uh, other characters' lines on my phone and leave gaps so that I can do the scene. I'm don't have a roommate or a partner or anything, so I'm often working on those things by myself the evening
mm-hmm,
before. So I just record and work on my phone and then try to be playing with new ideas and never doing it the same way, play with different internal choices so that I don't get stuck in a rhythm or, expect. I sometimes am a bit wary of recording on my phone because I don't want to get used to hearing the line a certain way. So try to just kind of like hold it loosely and play with the lines while I'm doing the dishes or folding laundry or whatever the night before. And then I'll usually wake up early the next day and do it again.
mm-hmm,
I'll maybe take like, depending on how many sides there are, 30 minutes to an hour to go through things again in the morning. And then I feel good heading in to set. And that's a skill I developed when I was working on um, a feature a couple of years ago where it was the first time that I had booked uh, a substantial role and was expected to be on set every day for a few weeks. I I needed to kind of have that kind of system in place to be able to like break down the amount of scenes and lines into bite-sized pieces and only worry about the day before me. Um, but something else that has been a practice and routine that I'm trying to employ is making sure that before I go to set or before I go to an audition, if I have the chance to hang out with a friend or chat with someone or even just like sharing a couple memes with people and get laughing and in a good mood and connecting with people, I find that has been so huge in terms of just like loosening up and becoming free to show up as an actor who can be a real person on the day. I used to just get fixated on rehearsing and doing everything perfect and mapping it all up and making sure that I had like all my like motivations written down and all charted out. And I've realized in recent years that's not really fun for me to be like so intense like that. And it also makes me more locked up and less able to just like be real. So part of the routine is actually just like doing something that's not acting related, just like having fun with a friend. Um, or if I can't be with anyone, maybe I dance dance around to something goofy for 15 minutes or just yeah, get in my body and get laughing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, at the end, we're humans, and you can't be like all super pro at some point. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
like I have also discovered that if you take things like as we were saying before, like extremely like super serious, if something along the way happened that you didn't like that you were not not expecting to it, you will be like like even like more nervous. You know what I mean? So just enjoy. Yeah, I like your style here. The fact that you focus on you focus on the character and everything, but also you focus on yourself. Give yourself a time to kind of loosen up. Like distract yourself like a little bit so fresh ideas come. And that's true when you get the chance to kind of disconnect like a little bit. Somewhere along the way, something might connect and be like, I could try this or I could do this. Things like that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's not just about the loosening up, it's that when you connect with other people, like that sparks ideas
Hmm.
and things start to flow more, like your ability to have energy flowing with another person. Um, yeah.
Yeah, love it. That is cool. And tell me, what's the most bizarre or unexpected thing that's ever happened to you on stage or on a set?
The most bizarre or unexpected. Hmm. What's the most bizarre? Oh, I don't know if I saw this question in your list, so now I'm actually having to really stop in the moment and think about what bizarre thing happened. I can think of bizarre things that I've watched happen to other other actors. But
Okay.
myself, um, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm drawing a blank. There have certainly been bizarre things that happen, but you know what? I think that often um, I'm so delighted in a moment of a bizarre thing happening that I don't, I'm just fully immersed in it and then I move on. You
Mm,
know what's gonna happen is that after this interview, I'm gonna get like 20 ideas. They're all gonna come pouring in. I'm
yep.
gonna kill
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. I have discovered that too. Like, yeah, we like whenever I ask something or someone asks me, like literally someone asked me like what would be like my top five of films, and I was just like, oh. And then a couple of minutes later, I was like, I got this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I was, like keep mentioning over and over, and I was like, it happens.
Yeah, totally. If I get the idea as we continue on in the interview, I will pause and I'll be like, okay, here's the bizarre thing.
Sounds like a plan. Love it. I love it. So moving on to the next question here. If you could play any, historical figure, fictional character, or you know what? Let's go big, even an animal.
An animal?
Yeah. Who or what would it be and why?
Hmm. No one specific comes to mind, but I often think that I would love to play um, either like a very regal elf or
Hmm.
a a goddess or a queen. Like I often get excited about the idea of playing some kind of like ruler or like
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
powerful force of a person. Um, I at one point was doing training with an institute that at the time was called Canada's National Voice Intensive,
Okay.
and it it was a whole bunch of different actors and people in theater and film and TV coming together to work on uh, body and voice work. And a lot of the work involved Shakespeare work that we were doing. And I got I got a role as a Prince Lancaster where I had to give a monologue as a prince. And that was probably the moment where I was like, oh, I really enjoy I really enjoy being a ruler. And not necessarily like I wouldn't want to even necessarily play a virtuous ruler. I think I would love to play someone with uh, cruel intentions and be able to explore that because I don't want to live that way in my own life, but it would be really fun to explore
Totally.
going on in the mind of someone who lives that out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, and because at the end, those people, I mean, like whenever you are playing at some point, if you play the character itself doesn't believe that it's the villain of their story. And that
Oh
goes to
yeah.
life, that basically everyone think that is not the villain of their own story, regardless of of the actions that they do, they think that they are, like that they have a meaning to it, there was a reason behind to it. So yeah, that would be cool. So we're talking about like a queen here. Okay, I like it. So kind of a
Or
mixing.
but I really, really I like yes, some kind of ruler, but I'd love if it was in a very kind of mythological.
It's kind of a Game of
Like
Thrones stuff.
I don't necessarily I'm not like I want to play Queen Victoria. That's not
No, no,
really.
no. So we're talking like a little bit between Lord of the Rings, Game of
Yes.
Thrones stuff, something like between that, right?
Yeah.
That would be cool. I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah. And as an actor, you often work closely, with directors and fellow cast members. But tell me, can you share an experience where collaboration led to unexpected creative breakthroughs or insights?
Hmm. The first thing that comes to mind is a project I worked on where I was actually not the actor, but I was directing a devised theater project with actors. And that gave huge insights into writing and acting, and even beyond the craft, it was a huge shift in my mind. And I think for the company members as well, about what we're capable of doing and our capacity for things and our ability to uh, like allow ourselves to experiment and try things that perhaps previously we've written off about ourselves. So, what happened in this devised project is that I went into the project really wanting to empower the people that I cast to um, take up space and feel like their gift and their soul was valuable. Um, and and the setting was kind of, there was a few members of our cast who um, had not acted in a while, and but I knew that they had something to give and I knew they had something to offer. And I get kind of annoyed sometimes when the world of acting is only filled up with people who are gregarious or maybe have the drive to fight for themselves to get parts. Um, because I think that is kind of one pocket of people um, that's very specific. And I think we miss out on a whole other group of people who maybe aren't driven in that way, but still have really interesting souls and things to offer as actors. So what I loved in this project is it's almost like some of these people were kind of underdog or dark horse people that had kind of been, yeah, not working for a while or doing a ton of acting. And it was beautiful to just give space and be able to say, you are valuable. I want to see what you're doing, and draw some of that out of people, and then just see them blossom, almost like they were these tight buds that had had too much cold wind whipping around, that made it hard for them to open up, but to just become, to create a space that became a sort of incubator or greenhouse to say like, hey, you can bloom here, like please bloom. I want to see the petals of your soul. I want to see the flower that you are. Like, let's do it. And then for that, to witness that actually happen was so beautiful.
Mm.
And it happened in rehearsal, and then also people went out into the rest of their lives and started trying things that maybe someone hadn't like played basketball in years, and then they suddenly decided to jump into a basketball game, and that made them, they came back to rehearsal and said, I want to play basketball with everybody. And it was awesome. I hadn't played since middle school. And like, this is a woman who I think at the time was in her 40, like mid to late 40s, and she's playing basketball now, and just like things like that. I was like, this is awesome. Like, it really fed the part of me that's like, screw the rules, like screw the people telling us we can't do things, like we can. I like pushing back against um cages and limitations and all of that. So that was kind of a curvy, windy share to that to answer your question. But um, yeah, directing those actors in that devised project taught me a lot, and then I could in turn take that and feel more empowered to continue to push boundaries myself. Yeah.
I'll take it. That is cool. That is one of the things that yeah, like that is one of the things that I love about, having the chance to speak with you again. The fact that you are, yeah, like the fact that you love to kind of encourage people to discover, like more stuff, to not only focus on the thing that is in one basket, but to actually look around. There's more stories to be told there. There's more opportunities here. There's more people here. There's a world basically, and I love that because we sometimes just focus on one basket and we do not pay attention on what's on the other and on the other and on the other, and you never know what you might discover, and you never know what thing could actually help you to either from something so basic as having fun to something that actually could, you know, help you to improve or things like that. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Badass. Just saying. And let's switching up to a kind of a more goofy fun question here. If you were stranded on a desert island and could only bring three movies to watch for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Um, the first thing that I'm thinking of is that I really like the movie Bambi. It's the first film I ever owned.
Mm-hmm.
Got it for my second birthday. It's
Okay.
just nice and gentle. And it's got a nice, four seasons, you know,
Mm,
symbolism of the seasons changing. Nice, gentle little animals chatting, pretty watercolor artwork. I just love Bambi. And I I would want that there. Also, it might be nice because, if you're on a desert island, you could be missing, um, the forests of this world, and so you get a little. Okay, I'm done talking about that. Okay, so Bambi. What? Oh, um, this is tricky because I might have an I. How I want to answer right now is just to list a few favorite movies,
hmm
but if I think, well, if I'm like, how long am I going to be stranded on this island? And should I be picking some kind of movie that like helps me maintain my sanity or my hope? Like, is Castaway too on the
I knew
nose?
you were gonna say that one. Yeah, yeah, okay.
How many people say that when they're asked this question? That must be annoying. I hate that I even said it. Can I retract that? I think I've seen Castaway once.
We retract that. Let's retract that.
You know what? Yeah. Okay. Bambi. Um, oh, that thing's happening to me where it's like your five favorite movies question.
hmm
Ugh. Um, maybe like a stupid chick flick. Like, I really like 13 going on 30. Um, and I, I love the movie Frances Ha with Greta Gerwig.
hmm
Yeah, I might include that.
There you go.
No, wait. I have some clarity. Bambi, Frances Ha, and Amelie.
That is a French film, right? From 2001, two, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take it.
Well, it
So
took me a while to get there, but
sounds
I
like
got
but we got him. We got him. Okay, okay. If you could now check this one out, if you could create a dream assemble cast for a movie, who would it be in it, and what kind of movie would it be?
uh, um okay, I'm just gonna go with my gut. I'm not even sure how these people all work together. But I'd love to be in it, and I would love to be in a film. Whoa, what's this thumbs up thing happening?
You did the top.
Oh, did I crease that? Shoot.
I didn't know that. Okay.
I would love
Well,
to be in a film that just had maybe a a cast of actors that wouldn't you wouldn't maybe expect to see all together, but
hmm.
they could have fun. So, what's coming to mind is Samuel L. Jackson, Owen Wilson. I I want it to be directed by Greta Gerwig, and maybe hmm, and, Meryl Streep, Samuel L. Jackson, Owen Wilson, Meryl Streep, and me.
That sounds
I
interesting.
feel like that is a movie that's no one is casting that cast, but
Hmm.
I would.
You'll take that.
Yeah. Again, I'm gonna like after this interview, I'm gonna be like have way better ideas, but this is the first people I thought of.
I
And it would be kind of a I don't know if this is because I mentioned Samuel L. Jackson, but I like a Pulp Fiction-y kind of thing.
hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds interesting. Sounds, it sounds like, oh, let's, I like it. I like that one. Yeah,
Know if I like it.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Check this one out. So we'll have a movie in which Ryan Reynolds would be in it, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Meryl Streep, and I just forgot the name of this actor. He was in The Elf,
Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell, in a drama action comedy.
A drama action comedy. Drama action. Like, is there a film that comes to mind that it could be kind of loosely like that?
I mean, okay, so a mix between let's say Deadpool and Gone with the Wind.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
You know what? Now that you mentioned Gone with the Wind, I I would actually love to do I someone sent me some clip of the Three Stooges yesterday, and then it got me on this train of like I've been listening to kind of some older music and then thinking about older films, and it's a realm that I haven't explored a whole lot, but I more and more find myself thinking like it would be fun to go back to creating movies in that way where
Hmm.
everything is a bit more exaggerated. Not that I don't like realism in film. I think it's powerful, but it would be fun to explore the kind of acting that was done in films when film was just really getting going and letting things be that campy or like kind of exaggerated again, I think would be so fun as a performer. Um, yeah.
Hmm.
And then maybe that same cast of people that I said getting to act in that way. It would be very interesting to me actually to see all these actors who are known for um, their authenticity and realness to see them doing a project where they're just like really hamming it up.
Hmm.
Would I think I would like to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. And that is one of the things that I want to happen, like more new stuff and not not more remakes. You know what I mean?
I
Like
want to see remakes.
yeah, like the other day I was having this conversation that I want like more s- like more new stuff to come. There's so many ideas out there that that could be turned into a really good stuff. But at the same time, I mean, I understand, the whole corporate world, and they want to play safe, so they will create a remake on something. But I just, like whenever that happens, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch something else instead. That's not my thing, and Yeah, and that kind of bums me out like a little bit. Like, you could like we could be talking about something new, like a new project, a new idea, and also give the opportunity to new people and on the spot as well. And yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I
you know,
agree.
like when they mentioned that they were gonna do a kind of a remake of the Harry Potter films, but they're gonna make it into a TV show now for HBO. I was like, oh crap, like, don't touch that. No, no.
Lord of the Rings too. I was like, just don't. Like we
Yeah, I watched that TV show and but it's interesting because, for example, um, an aunt, yeah, so one of my aunts, she was watching that show, and she never watched, she never kind of paid attention to the whole Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, like all of those. So she watched the show, and she thought that it was, yeah, I mean that it was kind of a interesting, fun show. As me, who watched, the whole trilogy of the old one and The Hobbit and everything, it was just not for me. I was like, yeah, no. So,
yeah. I didn't end up watching it. I
yeah,
saw the opening credits where it was like, I think this is I'm referring to it correctly, but it was like a black void, and then characters were just kind of like swooping in beams of
no,
light through the black void. And I remember watching that opening credits and thinking, nah, I won't be watching that.
yeah, yeah. Like when that happened, I was like, okay, no, like, yeah, might gonna, and at some point, I was just looking like, if this is gonna be like the new thing now, I might just start cancel subscriptions on streaming platforms, because yeah,
You're done, you dead to me.
yeah, I'm like,
What
yeah.
service was that on anyway?
Hmm?
What do you remember what streaming service that was
It
on?
was on Prime,
Huh.
and then they're actually gonna release a season two.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, they are. The trailer, it's already out there, I think. Or I was reading that the other day that they're actually planning like a season two. And when I was seeing that, I was like, didn't those guys saw the reviews on it? Because if you check the reviews, I mean, people who are fan of it, they they go hard basically, they go really hard because, like why, like, and as we were saying before, like why were you be throwing out a remake on something that basically was perfect, just leave it that way. And if you
Oh,
want new
I
people,
see. Fans of the original films. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you want to make new people to discover that, show them the old ones, like the trilogy. I mean, those ones were good. um But yeah, I mean, and for example, when they recently throw a TV show on Amazon, oh yeah, on Prime 2, which is called Fallout, which is based on a video game. I've watched it, loved it, but also people, that received like a very good review because it's something, even though yes, it's based on an idea from like the whole concept is from a video game, sure, but they actually pay attention to everything and they actually create like a new story to it, and it's fun and people like it. And I think either for people who either play that game or people who don't know anything about that game, they will, I mean, I have friends who have watched that show and they loved it, and also with the reviews to it, people loved it. And also that was kind of, I was thinking about that the other day, like, just create that, create new stuff. You could create something on something that is kind of already made, let's say, but put something new to it, like something new on that. Or for example, what Disney did with Star Wars, that they will be throwing out different stories in the whole universe they got, for example, The Mandalorian, which he was like a really, good show and things like that. So yeah, I want like more new stuff, and please don't stop with the remakes or touching really, you know, project like that. Or like for the Matrix, did you watch like the last Matrix film?
It did not.
Yeah, don't. Just
Don't.
don't. Yeah,
I love
just
the original Matrix.
that's the thing. Like the old ones were good, were amazing, but this new one came and I was like, yeah, no. So yeah,
Noted. I won't check it out.
Yeah, because basically what happens on that film is that you will not see Keanu Reeves in his action mode basically at all. He becomes kind of a like during the film at some point he becomes some guy who is just running alongside the crew. And yeah, no, no, I mean it just didn't click for me, and I was like, okay, yeah, this why, like why would you do something like that? So create something new. That would be like the thing that I'm saying. Create something new. Please, no more remakes. And yeah, there you go. I love it.
The thumb didn't happen that time for
Yeah,
either.
didn't happen. Maybe it's a sign.
Dan, I thought of something that could fit into the category of a bizarre thing on set.
Hit it.
And I want to share this because mainly because I think actors watching will find it relatable.
Hmm.
I worked on a commercial last year where I had to say like one sentence over and over. And I, when we first started out, got a note that was something along the lines of, can you just have a little more like smile to your face
Mm.
and a brightness as you say it? So I added some more smile and brightness. And then I got the note again. Can you just have a bit more smile and brightness? So I inside thought, okay, well, I'm really smiling and feel quite bright and giving it my whole heart, but sure, I'll be more smiley and more bright. And I continued to get this note, I would say 15 times.
15 times. Okay.
And I, in between each, would kind of try to ask questions to figure out if there was a nuance I was missing. And I was kind of trying to smile different ways. And the note to keep smiling just kept coming up. And by the end, I was literally like, like it looked insane. And the note never changed. And I just think that's a crazy experience. I think it really stressed me out actually, and I was quite upset after the shoot. But what I realized after is that sometimes as an actor, you can give a whole bunch of choices and options or try to nail a note, but if the person asking for it doesn't actually know what they want, you it can just not work sometimes.
Mm.
And I was really in this zone of like beating myself up about like, oh, I'm not getting this. And it just took me a minute to go, oh, this might not be about me as the actor not getting it. It might be that the person in running this thing hasn't figured out what they want, and so they just keep giving the same note, um, and expecting some amorphous thing that they don't have a vision of to happen.
Mm.
And maybe I mean I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses because of, perhaps there is something else I could have offered, but it just felt nuts. It felt nuts, and I just wanted to share that because I feel like a lot of us are spending our time doing commercial work, and I just think commercial shoots sometimes are just totally bonkers, and
Hmm.
they're a very weird realm of acting where the direction is weird and the things you're doing are, yeah.
Mm. Do you
That
remember
was
the sentence?
bizarre. Do I remember the sentence? I vaguely remember, but I'm going to refrain from saying it because it will
Stick on you again.
know what I'm talking about.
Sounds good to me. Sounds like a plan. And if your
And
life,
like a
uh
nice, like most of the crew was nice and a cool group of people. It was just, it was just one of those days where I was like, this feels, this feels
uh,
crazy. To get the
hmm
same note, to be told to smile more like 15 times when you have like, by the end, I looked like mother effing clown. And I had no, I was like done.
Yeah, I mean, I have heard stories from actors when where they're doing a commercial that is just crazy, basically. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, especially when they are doing a commercial on food.
On food, yeah.
That tends to get
It's like you,
too
as the
bad.
actor, like you want to do what they want. Like I so badly wanted to nail it. Um, and it just felt like hitting this wall of like, we don't know. I don't, I got no clue what you want. Trying
hmm
so hard to collaborate, but it's just not happening today. Oh
Yeah,
well.
it's the way it is. I'll take it. I'll take that. So we covered that question basically. I love that. I love that. And check this one out. If your life was turned into a movie, which actor would you want to play you and why?
Um, I know she's very like popular and everyone's, she's like the shining star right now and I've already mentioned her, but I would think Greta Gerwig. Greta Gerwig's probably the first actor that I saw on screen um, that felt really similar to me in terms of even being someone who like has a lot of thoughts going on and the thoughts sometimes come out stilted or it sounds like kind of angsty and confused, but it's because there's so many thoughts and it's all swirling around. And then there's like a bit of awkwardness. And I think that prior to seeing the movie Frances Ha, I didn't feel as confident about becoming an actor because I felt like who I really am didn't suit like ideal
Mm.
actor woman on screen. And then to be able to see Greta Gerwig and Frances Ha and see someone who really felt like me was so empowering because it made me feel like, oh, there is a place for me to come authentically as I am without having to posture as the ideal that's typically represented. And so I think that that's who I would like to play me because I felt watching her like I was watching myself.
There you go. All right. And if you weren't an actor, for either no actor, no musician, no painter, what career path do you think that you would have pursued instead?
Um, I think that I mean there's a lot of jobs that I find interesting and fascinating, and I think that it really would have depended on what skills I chose to develop
Mhm.
in high school because I can remember kind of in grade like 8 or 9, it's almost like I really had a keen sense of my capacity to go any direction because um, I think I think for some people growing up, they're often, you know, very clearly an artist or very clearly more math science minded. And I was always like very, very in the middle, well-rounded, and kind of grasped everything um, very well. So I could see myself becoming a doctor or becoming a lawyer. I remember one time in grade 9 having a debate with people and being like, this is so energizing and exciting to me. And when I actually put the work in to figure out how to articulate what I need to say, um, it's it's like fire. But I think what's happened is because I really veered into arts world and then did this theater degree, I spent so much time developing creative aspects of myself and just everything math oriented, everything um, that had more of an expectation of being able to speak directly and articulately. all those skills kind of fell to the wayside, and I became someone who speaks much more in pictures and metaphors, and
Mm.
it's like my abilities in the like uh, linear systemizing faculties of my brain kind of tumbled apart, and now I'm very much a like images, like even in my brain, painting like that is what's happening in my brain, and that's how the dots are connecting, and it's not straight lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm often curious about what would have happened if I didn't go that route and I went more of my like left brain self route. What would happen?
Mm-hmm.
That was a long answer again, but
Oh, I love him.
that's the brain I have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah, I get it. I mean, we all have. What I'm trying to say here is, yeah, like what I'm trying to say here is that yeah, like following like following the typical routine, as most people do and everything. I mean, I have tried. I mean, at least to myself. I mean, I've tried it, but at some point it just don't click. It just stopped clicking anymore. I'm like, okay, this is, remove that, and let me find something new. Like, remember, like whenever I can get the chance to say something new on it or contribute somehow, or do something different, at least to me, like this feeling that it actually makes you feel whole, you actually feel good to it, instead of following, I don't know, like the typical corporate route and everything. Just don't click to me at all. Like, especially like in the whole corporate world, whenever I'll see someone who I like getting fired somehow, I'm like, like that feeling. I'm like, I just don't want that. I want something different. Like, you know what I'm trying to say here? I mean, maybe I'm
Yeah.
just rambling, but you get my point, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's a certain set of values that are being carried out in that realm, but you see the value of that person that is outside of that
Hmm.
structure, and it's you miss them because they have this like other value that is what makes them so great to be around, and but the structure of that corporate world ousts them, and you lose this great person.
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie. A couple of days ago, like someone who so we were having a good time, between coworkers and everything, and then someone made a joke. Everyone laughed, and we were returning to our duties, things like that. And then one guy came to me, and and then he was like, what's interesting? What? That guy's gonna get fired. I was like, what? Yeah. Does he know? Of course not. I was like, this is horrible, that, and that also clicked in my head, like that at some point, that world of of hypocrite people, fake people, like that specific world to me, it's just bad. At least I don't like it because I mean I understand that some people take it, to pay bills, or maybe some people like it, and that's fine. But at least to me, that fake hypocrite stuff, I just can't, I can't. I've tried it, but I can't. If I like someone, great. If I don't like someone, great, but I can't pretend to be like, oh, you're my best friend or things like that. And behind you be like, oh, you're so screwed now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's things like that that gets me, that gets me also to keep pursuing this platform, and also to keep working into other stuff because it's just bad. So,
Yeah.
mm,
Well, I feel like yeah, what you're doing here with these interviews is such a gift to all the actors to get to kind of take some time to think about and reflect on our careers and lives, and it's cool and it's nice to have someone like care about that. So
yeah.
thanks.
And
Thank
also
you,
get
Dan.
me, the chance to meet so incredible badass people like yourself here.
Thanks.
I mean, what better, as I was saying in the beginning, I mean, this is already the highlight of the week, you're saying. So,
Thank
absolutely. And you know what? My final question, so we can all relax and enjoy, after a couple of difficult, fun, interesting, badass questions. So here it is. Based on what we said and everything, what do you think that could be the title for this episode?
This, the first thing that came to mind was, here we go again. But I don't know. What do you want to call it? Kyla Ferrier round two. I don't have a, I don't have a, I don't have a particular metaphor or idea coming to mind.
Mm,
Yeah, you guys keep it literal. Do you have an idea?
no, not yet. Um, no, I'm just
I
um.
don't, I don't know if it needs much more.
That was the title.
AF round two. Title. I don't know if it needs much more. Sure.
So I don't know if we don't. How was it again?
I don't know if it needs much more.
Yeah, we could take that, or yeah, sounds interesting.
Okay.
Sounds like what do we need? Or what is this about? You know,
Yeah, you can call it that. You could call it, what is this about?
or I wonder what this is. No,
Sure. Maybe take some time after to think about it.
take a break.
I'll let you know if I get any ideas.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds good
Okay.
to me. I mean, at the end, what can I say? The fact that you are keep doing it, keep shining, keep rocking out there. I mean, that is already incredible enough. The fact that you haven't stopped, like the fact that you are doing more stuff. Like with the fan you're doing here, that you are also creating with other creative people, and you are showing it to people, and having fun, having a good time, and like like the fact that you keep doing it, that is incredible. That is super inspirational, at least to me. Like whenever I will have like those days in which I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna quit. I will just look on people that I've interviewed what they're doing right now and be like, you know what, they keep doing out there. They keep showing, they keep rocking, they keep going and going. So why shouldn't I? You know what I mean? And yeah, it's badass. That is why I say that you guys basically are badass, because you're doing something outside the typical box, and you are doing something different. You're doing something that actually makes you happy, that you actually make you feel important, that you have a reason to be in this world. And I think that is super important for basically all of us to discover why we came to this world, and not to just live and that's it. You know what I mean? So keep doing what you do, keep shining out there, because I'm super sure there's people out there who sees you as a role model, and or are someone who is getting things done, and that's incredible. So
Yeah.
absolutely. I also want to thank those who stayed this whole episode. Thank you so much. Now, as I said at the beginning, in the description below, you're going to find all of Kyla's social media. Now, if you saw the first episode, or if you haven't, and you were like, you know what, I'm just going to watch this, you now discover why she's badass. So let's make her viral. Hashtag Team Kyla. And again, keep rocking out there, keep shining, and I'll see you in the next one.